through the entirety of my art career, I've been basically raising children, and I basically wanted to talk to you about how I manage doing my art career and also raising children and all the other responsibilities that I face with just being an adult. If you want your own 2026 calendars, then please follow the description, but I am still shipping to the US. There is no issues there. Today I wanted to talk to you about what has been going on for the last couple of weeks. It's been pretty interesting. I'm not sure if it's visible at the moment, but I did get some ink stains on my hands, which you will find out about very soon. That was not the thing about the last 2 weeks that's interesting, and I really wanted to bring this up in this week's vlog because I think it's something that a lot of art businesses, small businesses in general, I feel like it's something that we all kind of come up against at some point or another. So for a little bit of background, most of you already know, but if you are new here, I am a mum and I have 2 wonderful daughters, and they are now in their sort of young teen ages. And so through the entirety of my art career, I've been basically raising children the entire time. And I started my art career roughly when my youngest was about 4 years old. At that time, if you're a parent, you'll know that even though it's still quite full on, it's not as full on as having a baby. So I felt like at that time I was more able to start dedicating part of my time to building an art business. Anyway, fast forward to now, and the last couple of weeks, my eldest daughter has been very unwell, and it has been almost like transitioning back to when she was a baby. She's needed a lot of round-the-clock care. I even downloaded a baby app monitor so that I could hear her when I wasn't with her, like if I was cooking dinner or something, so that I knew that she was okay, essentially. Luckily, she is coming out of that now and she is doing so much better. Thank you so much to everyone who sent their well wishes over on Instagram. It really means the world to me. However, going through this kind of really made me think about the fact that I went through a lot of the needing to be needed like 99% of the time when I was starting my art career. And I feel like it's very important to discuss because I think a lot of people have other responsibilities, whether it's children or their main job or something else. It could be anything that I personally don't relate to, but you definitely will. Any kind of other responsibility that isn't the art career that you are trying to focus on, or the whatever small business or whatever thing you're trying to focus on, they end up clashing sometimes. And I basically wanted to talk to you about how I manage doing my art career and also raising children and all the other responsibilities that I face with just being an adult, being a homeowner, being, having responsibilities. Even outside of having children, I feel like there's a lot of responsibilities that come with being an adult. And sometimes when you're doing something that requires you to kind of propel it, you need that free time for yourself as well to be able to do that, and it's not always easy. So in the beginning, when my babies were quite small and I was starting the art business, it wasn't massively serious. I was trying to basically expand my skills and learn a little bit more, have fun drawing, be a part of community, and just kind of put myself out there a little bit. This was easier to do than the current setup that I have with my business. If I had this current setup with my business and I were to have another baby, I don't think I would be able to continue that. We all saw how that went when I just got a corporate job, and that took up all of my time. And I still thought that I could use my evenings and things to continue my art business. And although I did continue my art business, it was definitely not at the level it was and what I'm currently at the moment. And for me, the way that my art career progressed as my children grew up and as my art business sort of expanded, I very slowly sort of took on other responsibilities when it came to my art business, whether that was YouTube, Patreon. It was just drawing in the beginning. It was just doing commissions. When I first started, I did start Etsy, and that was sort of my main sort of focus, but it definitely wasn't the kind of attention and detail that I put into my Etsy shop and my website that I do now. And I actually am so grateful for that, because I think that sort of slow incline from the beginning to where it is now is so helpful for you as a person to kind of like adjust, because you're going to go through these changes with your business, and you need, if someone threw you into the position of like where I am now, you could definitely do it, but at first it's going to be a little bit jarring. And I think that sort of slow transition into it is very, very helpful as human beings, and especially if you're a mother, a new mum, or if there's some other responsibility that really craves your attention. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit, because I know that when people think about starting their small businesses or their art businesses, their art careers, whatever it is, I know that one of the things they think is, how am I going to be able to do this? How am I going to be able to juggle this with my children? How am I going to be able to juggle this with my full-time job? How am I going to be able to juggle this with my education? You have all these questions. It kind of like overwhelms you, and it's quite daunting. And I think that can cause you to delay following something that is calling you, essentially. So my advice to anyone who is starting out right at the beginning is take it slow. You really, really do not need to be at the end all at once. And it's actually probably preferable that you're not, so that you can digest and you can kind of have that nice balance. You have the balance between your other responsibility and your passion or whatever it is you're trying to pursue. It gets a lot easier, talking from like a mother's perspective and having children, it gets a lot easier when you send them to school. However, some of you may not want to send your children to school. I feel like homeschooling is becoming very, I want to say popular. It's not so much that I think it's becoming popular, but I feel like it's increasing. I feel like this is as open as I've spoken about motherhood, but for me, I don't agree with school systems and the way that they are. I feel like they need a lot of updating, and I think the children almost need to be the thing that's focused on, and I don't always feel like the system has that in place. I feel like the teachers are wonderful, the teachers are great, but I feel like the system that's in place is just very outdated, and I feel like it's not a place that children will thrive in. Anyway, coming off of that point, because that's just my personal opinion, absolutely, like, not saying it's the right one or it's the only one, but what I did want to say is, if you plan to send your child to school, then that frees up a lot of your time. And that is what I did, because when my children were younger, I didn't feel so much like I do now in terms of homeschooling and sending your child to a public school. So my children went to nursery and they went to primary school, and that gave me a lot more free time. I was very lucky that I had my husband who was bringing in the money for us so that we could financially be okay while I was sort of feeling this out. For you, if you are not in that situation, then there are other ways that I could suggest going about it. It all depends on, who you are and your own situation, and I really don't want you to get down on yourself about this is not going to work out for me if this is something you're thinking about, because everything can work out for you, even if it doesn't feel like it at the present moment. And I have felt that very many times. So if you are not in the position of having someone else financially support you, then the one thing I don't have experience with, but in my brain logically feels like the right thing to recommend, is to work a full-time job that you're able to, that isn't your passion, and save as much as you can whenever you can. The great thing about something like a business, or something like an art business especially, you don't always need the money up front. You do need some money up front to get some supplies and things, but it's not like it doesn't have to be a massive amount of money. You don't need these really expensive tools and stuff. You can start from the start. And also, if you are doing an art career, you can even do commissions and build your financial sort of security through your commissions, and then move on to, using that money to buy laptops, computers, laminators, all those sort of things. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. This vlog isn't scripted. I kind of just wanted to sit down and talk to you about how I was feeling, what I was thinking about, and how I sort of was looking back and I was thinking, wow, like I've literally come so far. I remember when all I would do is spend my evenings drawing, and day was just being a mum. And then, you know, when the children were in bed, that is when I would draw and use as much of that time as I could. And it was exhausting, I'm not gonna lie, but because there was that like fuel of passion behind it, I just had the adrenaline. I was able to keep doing it. And so that is how I did my sort of career in the beginning. And I did logo commissions, and commissions was basically how I kind of worked my way into the space. And I think it's really nice to do it that way as well, because if you're interested in pursuing social media, for instance, the great thing about commissions is usually people will share the commission that you've made for them, and then you'll kind of have this like word of mouth thing going on, which is really fun. So that's how it sort of worked for me. It sounds more simplistic than it was. It was very difficult at times. It was very fun at times as well. I finally felt like I knew what I wanted to do with my life. And I'm so grateful for it. I'm grateful for all the difficult times I faced. And I'm grateful for the, you know, pushing myself to do some of the stuff that probably wasn't the best idea. Like going to bed super late and then, you know, being up to look after children and then not really getting a lot of sleep for myself. And then now, where I'm at now, like I mentioned in the beginning, my children are early teenagers. And as you can imagine, it's a lot easier to find my personal time. Because my youngest is still very young teenager, then I'm still kind of needed a lot more by her. And I guess it also depends on the type of children that you have. Some children like to more be on their own, some children really like to be in your presence. So, but one great thing about being an artist and having children is that it's so fun that they are interested in what you're doing. And my youngest loves drawing on my iPad. There's a little section on my iPad where she just draws all of her own drawings, and it's so sweet, it's so precious. It's one of like my favorite things about being a mum. And I'm now even at the point where my children want to help me out in my business for some extra cash. And so I've been thinking about how I'm gonna teach them to do some roles in my business, and I think it could be really fun for them and really educational for them as well. I do feel like they both have very entrepreneurial type of spirits. But the thing with these type of situations where you have a responsibility that you can't ignore and a passion or a responsibility that you really want to put your time and effort and focus towards, the thing about it is, I think, is it's very fluid and it's very tailored to different people. I feel like different people work out different routines that work well for them. So for you, it might be very different to what I'm sort of describing. Maybe you'll listen to this and be like, whoa, that's not really how I want to do it. And I think that is the key thing, is working out how it will work for you. Try not to get overwhelmed or discouraged by how daunting it feels, because you can seriously do anything that you put your mind to. So I really don't want you to lose hope that, oh, it seems too hard, so it's not going to work out. It can absolutely work out. Maybe not in the most perfect way that we envision or we hope it to work out, but it will work out for you. And so the main sort of takeaway for where I'm at now with my business is that I try and have a lot of structure. I'm not typically a very organized person anyway, but I have significantly improved since having this art business and also since being in a corporate job. That really helped me to kind of schedule things, prioritize different things, and work out when I was going to do different things. So that was fun, that was nice and important to learn. However, I do think that with running a business like mine, it does feel like there needs to be some flexibility to it. And I think that flexibility really does allow me, and it depends on the type of person you are, because I think other people can really, really thrive with structure. And if you do that, it's wonderful. Then you can absolutely structure this. So I would just say that being fluid, being open to changing up how I do things is very, very important to keeping my sanity when juggling two kind of responsibilities like that. It really is actually so crazy when I look back at it, and I look back at the free time that I have now and the free time that I had when my children were, under 5 years old, and it's so drastic. So I do want to say to anybody who is doing this kind of situation that I'm doing now with a child that's under 5, or you're in a very demanding responsibility situation, then I just want to say that I'm proud of you, and you should be really proud of yourself too. It's not always easy, and I think one thing that I would say is it's so important to do some self-care, and I know that is not easy, especially when your responsibility is quite demanding. If you can do a little something that is, makes you happy, maybe it's buying your favorite coffee, maybe it's reading your favorite book, having a bath, whatever it is that is gonna, feel like you're still giving some love to yourself, I highly, highly recommend that. Without that kind of thing, I would not survive. And there's been times where I have significantly ignored my need for self-care and for self-love, and it has led me to breakdowns. I'm not gonna lie, I've had many a breakdown during my art career. They aren't easy to go through, so I would just really say that is very important to focus on wherever you are, at whatever stage of life you're at, please. And so obviously, because this week, the last couple of weeks, because what actually was planned to happen is I scheduled all my content. So this was actually kind of the universe's way of having everything work out anyway for me, because I scheduled all my content last week so that the remainder of the end of the week I could spend doing stuff that was fun for myself. I really just wanted some time away since coming back, and I was really looking forward to that. My husband also took some time off, and then the very first night of the first day we had off, that is when our eldest got sick. So the entire time was just gone, and it was spent looking after her, and I think that kind of threw off everything. At our more stressed moments, we were a bit like, why now? But looking at it now, it just feels so perfect that it worked out that way. Obviously it's not perfect for my daughter. I really didn't want her to go through that, and it was really a mentally difficult situation to go through, because it's one of those situations where you're literally giving your all to another person, and there's no time left for you. And that's why I say the self-care thing is so important, because once I just started taking 5 minutes to myself, I started to feel a lot better. Basically, I did zero work. I think I've done some drawing. Yeah, I've done some drawing. And then this week, I have finally started to get back into my orders. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who's been ordering, especially the calendars. I am so happy that you all love them so much. If you want your own 2026 calendars, then please follow the description. There is a link to my Etsy shop. There is a link to my website. If you have any questions or issues when it comes to ordering, please let me know. A lot of the times I'm not aware of some of the stuff that happens. I've had people message me before and say that their discount code isn't working, and I wouldn't have known had no one sort of told me about it. So it's so important that if you come across any issues or anything that you think is a little bit strange, then let me know and I will sort that out for you. You can also, of course, get your own fairy messages deck. I've actually mixed all my decks. I mentioned this in my Oracle deck tutorial, which was the last video that I did, where I said that you can mix up a bunch of different decks to make one giant deck, and that's exactly what I did. So this is the fairy Oracle deck, if you haven't seen it before, and I mixed that all up with all my different decks. So we've got the Star Sign Girls, the Crystal Girls, the Mermaids are in here somewhere, I don't know where they are now. Yeah, the Mermaids are in there. So yeah, it's so fun. So if you want to do something like that, then you can go buy all of these decks. I don't think this is even all my decks. I think I'm missing a few. And I just want to also say thank you so much to everyone who's given me so much love towards the Fairy Messages Oracle deck and the Fairy Manifestation Calendar. I really wanted to kind of throw everything into fairies, and so many of you loved it, and it means so much to me. So I just want to thank you so much for that. I will be having a Black Friday sale. I think Etsy is doing something, I can't remember the dates now, but I'll put them up on the screen. During this time, I am taking part in the sale. I think you will love it, and I highly recommend that you take a look at my shop at the time of that sale, because I don't think that you will be disappointed with the discount. I used to do discounts quite a lot, and as times have sort of like been quite fluid and changing, like there's been different postage things and different increases of costs in different areas, and so with all of that stuff, I've kind of like taken a step back from discounting my products. I will do kind of ones here and there, but for the most part I don't discount. But for this time frame there will be a big sale on, so I would highly recommend getting all your Christmas shopping done then as well, because these orders will go out fast. I am aiming for a 1 to 2 day window, so your orders at the moment are 1 to 3 days, so that is what it's going to change to. Also, with American customers, I just wanted to let you know, I don't know if you know already, I have mentioned this before, I don't think I mentioned it in a YouTube video, but I am still shipping to the US. There is no issues there. I pay for the tariffs with my shipping, so it's prepaid. It's nothing you have to worry about. It clears customs, everything works perfectly and smoothly, and actually gets to my American customers much faster than it used to. It used to be literally like 4 to 6 weeks sometimes, and that was not paying for the slow shipping. That was standard shipping, and now it's like a week or two. So I also am still shipping to Germany, so if you are interested in getting some sort of fairy artwork, I do a lot of like stickers. You probably all know this if you've been watching me for a while, but I do a lot of prints, I do a lot of stickers, I do a lot of oracle cards, decks, and I obviously do the calendars, and I am so sure that you will find something you love in my shop. Also, I do want to say I have a bunch of Christmas gift tags that I haven't had time to spend marketing at the moment, or even like letting people know about them, but this is one of my like first designs, was the little pink stocking, and it says to and from, and this is going in one of the orders today. But these are so perfect for just, you know, like your kids' presents, and you just want to put like a little label on it and write on it. And for me, I love the pink and white theme, so that is why like my entire gift tags, gift labels selection for Christmas is pink and white, and they can all go together so nice. And I used them all for my Christmas last year, and they just look so perfect together. So that is one of the things that I think I really need to step up with at the moment, is my marketing, and actually letting people know about what products are available, what discounts are available, what sort of, because I even have things where in my shop you can buy, I think it was like buy 2 decks and then like get a free deck or something. I can't remember now but if I can find it, I'll put it on the screen. And so I really want to do a Christmas gift tags kind of like photo shoot or video session where I can record and be able to turn those into reels and TikToks and promotional sort of content. And I think it's so important as well for you guys to be able to see what my products look like when you're using them, especially with things like gift tags. So I think that's probably what I'll do next week, as long as nothing kind of like throws a spanner in the works. I have managed to complete 3 commissions. Thank you so much for commissioning me. I am currently also reading Onyx Storm, the 3rd book in the 4th Wing series, and I'm obsessed. So obsessed to the point that I'm like seriously thinking that maybe I should just draw a load of like book characters and have authors commission me for book covers and book inserts and for characters in their books. Oh my god, just talking about it makes me so happy. Patrons, you will know that I've been spending a lot of time, well, not a lot, I guess not a lot of time, but I'm definitely spending more time drawing men as well. I really love watching sort of romance kind of shows, and at the moment I really love K-dramas with a lot of love in them. So I think all these different things really inspire me at the moment to be drawing men a lot more, and I think it's really good for me to also branch out and be able to expand, because there was definitely a time, a very long time, you know, I feel like men were not my favorite thing to draw. And I was so adamant that I would not draw men, and honestly I just feel like it restricted me a little bit, but it's what I wanted to do at the time, so I'm not mad about it. I'm just really loving at the moment that I'm going to be drawing these characters, and I do have something really exciting. I have always wanted to be an author, so when I was younger I always said that it was either going to be artist or author, and I wasn't sure which way I was going to go. And so I am currently drawing something that I don't think I've even shown my patrons just yet, but they will see it very soon. They'll see the work in progress very soon. I'm drawing this couple, and I've written a little bit like as if it was taken from a book of them in it, and I just love it so much, and I can't wait to share that with you. It will be probably a little while before it makes it to Instagram. I don't know, maybe. But if you did want to see it before and you didn't want to wait for Instagram, then you can join my Patreon as just £2.50 a month, and you get to see all the kind of like sketches and things, get to have more of like a discussion with me about things, you get to know a little bit more about my life. You also get all my Procreate brushes, I think, are on there, and I will add brushes on there whenever I make new ones. I think some of them are shop only, but the big bulk brush set that I have of all the brushes that I use, I think is on there. And you get literally like years and years worth of past content when I would do tutorials and things like that, and wallpapers. So there's even phone icon wallpaper packs. So there is so much on there if you would like to have a look and take advantage of that. And to you who supported me watching this video, I just want to say a massive thank you, and to everyone who supports my Etsy shop, my website, my Patreon, everything. I really appreciate you, and thank you for accepting me back as well with such loving open arms, because I really missed you guys. So have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you at the same time next week. Bye.